Hi, it's Keir Finlay Bates here, and today I was asked a question about bridging NFTs. So some of you may be thinking, well, what on earth does that mean? Well, in the cryptocurrency space, there are various techniques and methods that are used to allow you to get crypto assets off one blockchain and onto another. Because the problem that blockchains have is that they're hermetic. They're sort of sealed environments where within the environment, the blockchain can work out what is true relating to what else is true. So it's got a record of all the transactions, and it can tell whether a double spend is being attempted or whether someone is attempting to make off with some assets that don't actually belong to them. The problem that blockchains have is that they don't have information about the outside world, and that includes other blockchains. And for cryptocurrency, there are a number of different techniques that are used in order to move a cryptocurrency off one chain and onto another. And in fact, you're not really doing that because one chain and the other chain are both ledgers. So what you're doing is you're making sure that one ledger is debited with something and the other ledger is credited in a decentralized, trustworthy or trustless manner. And I have a previous video on that, which I'll link to. But when it comes to NFTs, what would it mean to bridge an NFT? Let's say you mint an NFT on Polygon, but now you would like to have access to it on Ethereum. Well, what you would probably need, I would think, is a way of showing that the NFT on the first chain has been frozen or locked up, so it can no longer be, nothing can be done with it. Maybe it's being held by a smart contract rather than a person. And then you have some bridging software that is monitoring both chains, and then you instantiate the identical NFT on the other chain, say in this example Ethereum. So now you have an identical contract with an identical NFT minted in it on both chains, and one of them is disabled and the other one is enabled, and you have some software that allows you to flip between the two. And then, of course, what you're going to need is some kind of incentivization and punishment scheme, whereby if somebody tries to unlock one without locking the other one, they end up facing a financial penalty equivalent to the estimated value of the NFT. So you can see there are all sorts of tricks and problems with instantiating something like this. It does, however, beg a bigger question, which is why on earth would you want to do this? Now, the one reason I can think of is that different blockchains have a different perception in the mind of the public, and NFTs at the moment are all about sentiment. There's no rationality or logic behind it. It's just that some people want them, or some people think that other people want them, and therefore that they're going to increase in value. So they're becoming little items of history, just like fine art from previous art periods. And the thing in the blockchain and NFT space is that some blockchains have more cachet than others. So it's a fact that there are artists out there who have drawn fantastic and wonderful drawings or painted beautiful paintings, but for some reason their work doesn't sell as well as the work by another more famous artist. And in the blockchain world, it's kind of like that with the different blockchains. The Ethereum mainnet blockchain is like the Van Gogh or the Picasso of the blockchain world, and other blockchains such as Polygon or Binance Smart Chain or something like that, they're like lesser stature artists. And I'm not going to insult those lesser stature artists by attaching their names to the secondary EVM based blockchains, but it's just a fact that an NFT on Ethereum is perceived automatically to have more value than an NFT on one of the other chains. Partially, probably because it's cheaper to produce them on the other chains. And so if you can somehow convince the public that your NFT on a cheaper chain is now living on the more expensive chain, well, that's a bit like it moving from Southwark, South London to Mayfair in central London. It has a better address, and as a result it's perceived to be more valuable. But again, it doesn't really make rational sense, and I'm not sure that doing something like this would actually be understandable by the people in the marketplace who are currently interested in NFTs from a I want that perspective, rather than a speculative I think I'm going to make a profit off that. Anyway, just a chat about NFTs and bridging. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you all in the next video soon. Bye for now.